Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
Good Monday morning to you. I'm Molly Hendrickson.
And I'm Brian Sanders. Here's the latest from Denver 7.
We have issued a first alert action day for a major shift in our weather conditions that could bring snow to the metro later today.
Denver 7 meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo has a look ahead at the timing of this storm and how it might impact your day.
And our morning drive is dry right now. We are going to be under a mostly cloudy sky, and we saw some snow overnight in the mountains. But take a look at what happens here. We've got a pretty strong northerly wind. It's pushing in a lot of cold air. Yesterday, we hit a high of 78 degrees. And in, well, pure Colorado fashion, we're going to be in the 30s this afternoon. And it looks like by early afternoon, that's when we'll start to see more rain and snow developing here along I-25. Greeley, Longmont, Fort Collins, Estes Park, that'll be a few of the spots where we see some of this rain and snow first. And so that drive there along I-25 is likely going to get wet to slushy for the evening commute. We'll see here in Denver temperatures again only in the 30s this afternoon. Cold overnight. Most of the rain that we're going to see at that point will have turned well over to snow overnight into early tomorrow morning. And then on Tuesday, it's going to stay a little sloppy. We'll see a rain-snow mix possible throughout the day tomorrow. Totals-wise, by tomorrow, they're across the northern Front Range and again closer to Fort Collins. We're going to be at about 3 to 8 inches of snow. So from Fort Collins north up into Wyoming, some heavier totals. Here across the Denver metro area, closer to downtown, it's likely around 1 to 3. Spring storm snow totals can get pretty tricky because a lot of it melts as soon as it hits the warm ground. And as you get up into the mountains above 9,000 feet, we're at over a foot of snow here where we have winter storm warnings, and our foothills likely closer to Evergreen, Genesee, Conifer. You're going to see about 4 to 8 inches, so a bit more there as you get up into the foothills. Tomorrow, upper 40s to near 50 degrees, so it's going to be another chilly day tomorrow, just not quite as cold as what we're going to see today. Wednesday, we're back in the 50s. Still a little wet, though. We'll see some scattered storms and showers Wednesday before skies then start to clear out. And you guys, as we head into the weekend, well, thankfully, there's more 70s back on the board. 75 on Friday and looks pretty mild, pretty nice both Saturday and Sunday.
That will be nice. Thank you, Lisa. We have new photos into our newsroom today showing one of the 4 people killed in last week's fiery crash on I-70 in Lakewood. The family of 69-year-old Stanley Politano of Arvada has shared them with us after authorities released the names of the 4 men who died. They include Politano, 61-year-old Doyle Harrison of Hudson, 67-year-old William Bailey of Arvada, and 24-year-old Miguel Arellano from Denver. Our thoughts are with their families and friends today. As we remember those lost, we're also hearing news stories of heroism from everyday people put into an extraordinary situation. Malia Harsh was involved in the crash, but was able to get out of her car and help a woman who suffered major injuries in the car next to hers.
I just knew that nobody was getting out of that car yet. There was fire. As we're walking away, you can feel the flames on your back. You could feel the heat, and it just exploded.
All she could see was airbags in that car. Harsh is studying to become an EMT. She says she's struggling to get back and forth to work and school right now because her car was totaled.
Residents continue to push back against plans to relocate a tiny home village to the Globeville neighborhood. Tonight, they have a chance to make their case to the city. Denver plans to move the village for homeless to a piece of property at 44th and Pearl, but neighbors feel like they weren't included in the plans. They don't want the village there. So tonight, the city is holding a public hearing at the City and County building. It starts at 5:30. Also tonight, the Denver City Council will decide whether to designate the massive cable land property as a landmark. That means it could not be sold or undergo major renovation. The 20,000 square foot home was donated to the city more than 30 years ago under the condition it become the official home of the mayor, but no Denver mayor has called it home since.
Finally, that's what we're hearing from commuters who have waited years now for RTD's G line to start welcoming passengers. Denver 7's Micah Smith rode the train this morning with downtown workers.
Not a lot of passengers have been riding the G line from Union Station to Wheat Ridge during the morning commute. However, quite a few hopped on board from Wheat Ridge to Union Station. RTD is offering free rides on the G line until May 12th. After May 12th, it'll cost you about $3 to ride one way. This line begins at Union Station in Denver, has a total of 8 stops, and ends at Ward Road in Wheat Ridge. The G line opens around 4 a.m. and runs until 12:30 in the morning, every 15 minutes during peak commute times and every 30 minutes during other times time periods. This 11.2-mile commuter rail is more than 2 years overdue, but RTD says that's because they're attempting to do something no other transportation department in the country has done before, and that's use positive train control on new railroads with safety features that help trains avoid collisions. We talked to one passenger who told us he's just glad the G-line is finally here.
It's going to be great because it's a long ways from where I start, from my starting point for work, and it's about an $8 lift ride from the end of the line for the G-line. So we've been waiting for this for a while now.
RTD says now that most of the kinks have been worked out, transit agencies across the country can benefit from what RTD has learned by getting the G-line up and running. Reporting from the G-line, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Thank you, Micah. Today, people in Boulder can weigh in on plans to shift flight routes across Colorado. Many Colorado cities worry a change of flight paths might create unwanted noise in their neighborhoods. The plan is called the Denver Metroplex Project. It would allow more direct and efficient routing of planes in and out of DIA. Tonight's meeting is at 5 in the Boulder Public Library Meadows branch.
This week, plans to revamp the 16th Street Mall will move forward, and you have a chance to give your city your thoughts. The city will talk about the possibilities Wednesday. Under one of the plans, the city would get rid of the center median, push the bus lanes together, and widen the sidewalks. The goal is to give pedestrians more space to hang out and eat at some of the restaurants in the area. Now, we recently went 360 on the changes. You can check out that report right now on thedenverchannel.com.
Today is the last chance to try and be a part of Boulder's new police oversight task force. 12 people will make recommendations to their city council about what changes need to be made there. The idea to create the task force came after Boulder police detained a black man who was picking up trash outside of his home. Right now, there's an independent review of that incident. The task force is expected to start meeting at the end of May.
We have heard from so many of you with so many different thoughts about what state lawmakers have done at our Capitol this year. And now the clock is ticking. This year's session ends Friday. There are still some big issues yet to iron out, including a bill to address pay inequality and funding for all-day kindergarten. A bill to make it harder for parents to opt their children out of required vaccinations is still awaiting the governor's signature. Meanwhile, the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission has delayed a public meeting set for today because of the changes to our state's oil and gas laws. Right now, the commission is putting together a new set of rules called the Draft Objective Criteria. It has until May 16th to submit them to the state, and today is your last day to weigh in.
Missions changed from fostering oil and gas to regulating oil and gas in a manner that's protective of health, safety, welfare, and the environment. So there's that rule. There's the rule about alternative site location analysis, the rule concerning evaluating and addressing cumulative impacts, and then the rule concerning relooking at the flow line rules.
So to read the draft criteria and weigh in, just go to our free Denver 7 app for links to the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission's proposed changes. The Denver Nuggets host the Portland Trail Blazers in Game 1 of their second-round series tonight at the Pepsi Center.
Quick turnaround, too, for the Nuggets, who had to fight until the very end to win Game 7 against the Spurs on Saturday.
The Nuggets won 3 out of 4 games against the Blazers in the regular season. Let's hope that trend continues. Tip-off is at 8:30 tonight.
Meanwhile, it's all tied up between the Avalanche and Sharks. Their second-round series of the Stanley Cup playoffs shifts to the Pepsi Center for Game 3 tomorrow.
So the Avs beat the Sharks 4-3 last night, thanks in part to the hustle of Mikko Rantanen. With the game tied in the second, he helped set up a goal from defenseman Tyson Barrie to take the lead. Barrie had 2 assists in the game to go along with that goal. We have a Contact 7 consumer alert. Most of us have been caught up in a costly subscription we never really wanted at some point.
How about this? Amazon customers are now complaining about the Amazon Prime subscriptions they ended up with without even realizing it. Denver 7's Eric Lufer is finding a solution.
So here's what's happening. According to some customers, they're buying things on Amazon, and then they're being put on an Amazon Prime trial period. And when that trial period expires, all of a sudden they're paying up for a Prime membership. That's what happened to Jeff Work. He recently got an email from Amazon saying, "Thank you for joining Prime," even though he never joined. All he did was order a couple of books.
It really does stink, and I've heard, ever since this happened to me, I've heard more and more about it.
A group of Amazon customers in California have filed a class action lawsuit claiming Amazon often signs shoppers up for a 30-day trial of Amazon Prime, after which they are billed the $119 annual fee. The lawsuit alleges this happens if you are not careful when choosing free shipping of your product. Amazon is not commenting on the lawsuit. If you don't want Prime and find you've been signed up for a free trial, look under your Amazon account settings, and you should find a page for canceling. You can also call Amazon directly and have the membership and cost removed. I'm Eric Lou for Denver 7.
Always got to read the fine print there.
Gets ya.
This has been your Denver 7 on-demand update. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure you check back here later today for another update and download the free Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. Have a great day.